CTV News at 11:30 with Ian Campbell and Rick Wyman with weather.
Good evening. Thanks for staying up with us. Canada tonight has a majority government. There were 3 by-elections this evening. At least 2 of them in the Greater Toronto area helped seal the deal for the Liberals tonight. The third in the Montreal riding of Terrebonne remains too close to call. This is the first majority since the Justin Trudeau government of 2015. We'll have more on this coming up throughout the night on our website, ctvnewsnorthernontario.ca and ctvnews.ca. Sudbury police charged 7 drivers over the weekend with impaired-related offenses. Officials say despite the province making changes to penalties, police continue to see more than 300 impaired-related arrests every year. CTV's Lindsay Alick reports.
From Friday at 2:30 p.m. to Sunday at 3:20 a.m., officers in Sudbury removed 7 impaired drivers because of proactive patrols, investigative follow-up, and calls from concerned community members.
This included 4 motor vehicle collisions, 1 ATV collision, a disturbance, and then an incident that resulted in the seizure of a firearm.
Dunn says those charged were all men between the ages of 21 to 55, with 6 out of the 7 under the age of 29.
A few of these incidents were related to individuals contacting us with information of an alleged impaired driver. And when officers arrived on scene, they were able to determine that the individual was either impaired by drugs or by alcohol.
Every driver charged with impaired over 80 or impaired determined by a drug recognition expert received a 90-day license suspension and their vehicle impounded for 7 days.
First things first, thanks give to the Greater Sudbury Police for saving 7 people's lives, potentially, and I mean, probably more, but those numbers are so disappointing at this point. There's so many other options as far as impaired driving goes. I don't think people fully understand their decisions.
Hancock is a longtime advocate against impaired driving, having lost her son DJ in a crash involving a drunk driver 11 years ago.
We deal with that every day. So it's just so preventable. Sudbury needs to do better, as far as I'm concerned.
Hancock says she feels penalties need to be stiffer. And for those thinking about getting behind the wheel, think of DJ and his family first. Lindsay Alick, CTV News, Sudbury.
The Canadian Federation of Independent Business released a report indicating half of small business owners say crime has increased in their community. In Elliott Lake, OPP officers were called to a business Sunday after it was reported a person loaded a laundry basket with items and left the store without paying. The suspect was later found on Ontario Avenue just a short while later. According to police, the 19-year-old tried to flee and assaulted an officer during the arrest. Meanwhile, a 51-year-old is in custody after a pair of break-ins at businesses in Goulet River near Sault Ste. Marie. Police say they were notified of the first break-in April 8th around 4:30 in the morning at a business on Highway 17 in Goulet River. Not long after, officers were dispatched to a second business along the highway. Surveillance footage was used to identify the suspect and he was arrested. Police also reported the man was driving a vehicle that had been stolen from the Sault earlier in the day. In Sudbury, business owners are concerned about crime, but some still favor the downtown area despite it. CTV's Madison Merrier has more.
Small businesses in downtown Sudbury say they are no stranger to crime, but it hasn't been a major problem for their stores.
I've been down since 1988, and there's always been, crime of some sort happening, but it's never interfered with my business, and I've been fortunate and lucky. So I do take steps also. I have security, I have cameras.
We are very lucky that we have our stall here, like shop here in the proper downtown space, but it is very unfortunate that we went through that event. So one day we came and we saw someone broke our glass, one of our glass, door glass.
Hussein said it was a learning experience, and now they keep lights on overnight and have purchased CCTV cameras as a prevention measure.
And a lot of the times these things take a toll out of their financial bottom line for small businesses, especially for smaller businesses that don't have the resources that, let's say, a major grocer.
CFIB couldn't give any northern specific data, but called on national data saying crime and safety issues are adding more pressure to small businesses, and they hope policymakers make changes.
For businesses in the long term right now, Canada, we're seeing an entrepreneurial drought, which just means that we're seeing more business exits than we're seeing openings. Crime and safety issues, this is just fuel that adds to the fire of all of this.
Though crime may be a concern for some businesses, many of the owners we spoke with said that they love being downtown and hope to see some new small businesses move to the location.
I think the downtown is getting a new facelift and a lot of positive things happening.
Every city's downtown is the heart.
Madison Marier, CTV News, Sudbury.
North Bay police have released an age-progressed image of Glenn Wesley, who has been missing for 16 years. Wesley was a patient at the Northeastern Mental Health Hospital in 2010. He was granted a short-term pass to leave the facility September 15th. He was 28 years old at the time. It was believed he was heading to downtown North Bay when he left the hospital at 1 that afternoon, but never returned. Police say they've had unconfirmed sightings of him over the years in Timmins, Cochrane, and New Liskeard. Families of people who died in collisions on highways 11 and 17 were in Toronto today, demanding action on winter maintenance and road twinning of the major routes. CTV's Eric Tashner has more on the story.
We have less of a life now.
Families who lost loved ones in devastating crashes on the Highway 11-17 corridor can't fathom why these two roads are not safe. It's a crisis they see not being addressed.
They can look at a map, they can tell where their accidents are, where their fatalities are, and it just seems it keeps getting neglected and ignored every time.
Since the start of 2026, 10 people have been tragically killed on these roads, including Cheyenne Viant, who was killed in a head-on collision with a transport truck due to road conditions and ice.
I have to go by that spot 2 times a day, every day, to go to work. Well, she took her last breath. It was wet to here, and then it was ice the whole way.
Jim Bailey's son, Dallas, was only 19 when he perished in a fiery crash in October 2018.
My son's not the first, he won't be the last. Cheyenne's not the first, she won't be the last. It's just repetitive.
This is Northern Ontario Trans-Canada.
They took part in watching a documentary produced by the NDP after a 2-week tour of Northern highways. Then, in a zealous discussion,
Highway safety, especially on 1117, it's at a crisis level. Everyone in Northern Ontario knows.
Northern NDP MPPs put Transportation Minister Prabmeet Sarkaria on the spot.
Minister, what you are doing now is not working. People keep dying on our roads.
Sarkaria responding.
This year alone increased the amount of transportation enforcement officers in the north by over 48 individuals, conducted over 129,000 inspections, which is up over 50%.
Last Thursday, while in North Bay, Premier Doug Ford addressed road fatalities on the Highway 1117 corridor, reiterating early work on the 2+1 highway pilot project north of the city is underway.
We're going full steam on making sure that we expand highways that no government's ever expanded before.
But for these families, action is not coming quickly enough.
There's 2 things in life, excuses and results. We're getting a lot of the first and not a lot of the last.
Eric Tashner, CTV News, North Bay.
And Sudbury NDP MPP Jamie West also bringing the idea of 4-laning Highway 69 into question period once again to the government after revealing 2 of his neighbors died in a crash last week.
In 8 years of conservative budgets, not a single dollar has been allocated for Highway 69. Not a single cent has been spent, and not a single inch has been 4-laned. Speaker, my question is, why does the Premier keep breaking his promises when he knows Highway 69 kills people?
Minister of Transportation.
Very much, Madam Speaker. We continue to make great progress on Highway 69, and we're going to get shovels in the ground to get Highway 69 built, Madam Speaker. We have detailed design work that is continuing to happen as we speak today. We're working in collaboration with the communities on Highway 69 and the remaining stretch that hasn't been 4-lane.
Sarkaria says the highway is part of a $30 billion plan, but was unable to provide a date as to when those shovels would be going into the ground. Hydro One is hosting open houses this week about the proposed Sudbury-Barrie transmission line. Residents in Parry Sound can attend tomorrow at Legion Branch 117 from 4 p.m. to 7. And in Sudbury, Hydro One will host the open house at Centennial Arena in Hanmer Wednesday from 4 to 7. For those who can't attend in person, a virtual session is scheduled for next Tuesday, April 21st from 6 to 7 p.m. A historic building in Sudbury is being transformed. Part of the old Northern Brewery's building on Lawrence Street was being torn down today. The property is going to be the new home of Wacky Wings. It's a popular restaurant that was forced to move out of the downtown core to make way for the city's new event center. Warmer temperatures mean snowmobile trails are starting to close. Most snowmobile trails managed by the Ontario Federation of Snowmobile Clubs in the Northeast are closed for this season. Trails north of Matheson still have limited availability, while trails around Cochrane remain open. You can visit the OFSC website for the latest closures using the trail map. Time now for a short break here on CTV News. Coming up, we'll have your full weather forecast. For now, a look at the weather warnings we have in place tonight. That area in white, it looks like, is a special weather statement. 10 to 20 millimeters of rain continuing through Tuesday. Pooling may happen in low-lying areas, so that's Manitoulin, Killarney, French River, West Nipissing, North Bay. A rainfall warning, 15 to 25 millimeters, is possible for that area in yellow. And we just had a warning pop up live on the screen. That's likely a rainfall statement, I'm guessing. But a lot of frozen ground, so it means a lot of pooling in the area. Checking to current conditions, we've got 1 in Kapuskasing, 1 in Timmins, 0 in Chapleau, 1 in Wawa. We're seeing some rainstorms make their way through the Parry Sound area right now. 6 in North Bay. We'll have details after the break.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Well, we're off to a wet start this week with lots of rain in the forecast. We might have a day or two with some sun and cloud in our forecast. Forecast radar, that system sifting through the Northeast and bringing with it lots of rain for Parry Sound, Gore Bay, and North Bay. We'll take a look at some of those numbers in just a moment, and then we'll get some remnants by about Wednesday at supper time. Now your numbers: Sudbury, Nickel Belt, showers for tomorrow at 6, chance of showers Wednesday at 9, rain Thursday at 12, 10 degrees Friday, some sun and cloud, chance of showers Saturday, chance of flurries at 2 degrees on Sunday. Normally you should be sitting at 9. Sault Ste. Marie, Algoma, showers tomorrow. Of course, we've got that in the forecast. Risk of a thunderstorm, high of 12 degrees, warm but wet. Chance of showers Wednesday at 8, rain on Thursday 11, 9 degrees on Friday, sun and cloud. Showers Saturday at 9, and chance of flurries. Here we go with the cool down at 3 degrees on Sunday. How about Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing? Chance of sleet for a couple of days. Your daytime highs 4 and 5. 9 Thursday, chance of showers. Friday, sun and cloud at 8. Chance of showers Saturday at 5. -1 with the chance of flurries come Sunday. So a general cool down by the start of next week on Sunday. Normally you should be sitting at around 8. Then there's Temiskaming Shores and Kirkland Lake. Rain drizzle for tomorrow at 5. Chance of showers Wednesday at 8. 10 degrees Thursday with the rain. Another 10-degree day on Friday, sun and cloud. Chance of showers on Saturday at 8. Only 1 with the chance of flurries. A good bet there at 60%. So we go from warm and wet to some pretty cool weather come Sunday. Normally, your temperature should be at around 8 for this time of the year. North Bay, West Nipissing, showers tomorrow, 10 to 15 millimeters, high of 8. Chance of showers Wednesday, rain Thursday at 12. Friday, some sun and cloud at 11. Saturday, chance of showers 40%, 10 degrees your high, and cooling off at 3 come Sunday. So again, showers for North Bay, Parry Sound tomorrow, 15 to 25 millimeters, and Gore Bay, 10 to 15 millimeters as well. So Ian, some hard rain coming for the Northeast for tomorrow. Some other areas won't be that affected, but it will be a wet start again to the day, beginning at least overnight, continuing throughout the day. Back to you.
Thanks so much, Rick. Well, spring has sprung, much to the chagrin of green thumbs everywhere. There's still a lot of snow on the ground. Even still, nurseries like Lori Zalderner's are busy getting ready for the better weather. Zalderner knows many are likely chomping at the bit to get out there. Among some of her key tips, know the growing zone where you live, which plants will thrive and which won't. Also, don't rush digging in if the ground is still solid and frozen. You may have to be just a little more patient.
Happy planting, have fun with it. You learn from your mistakes. The biggest thing is the right plant for the right location for your needs is the best thing that'll start you off on a right track.
Zalderner adds, watch your seeds starting. Don't start the seedlings too early because then you're trying to hold them back before getting them into the ground. And again, know your zone. French River is zone 4B. A partial roof collapse at a Cochrane school has closed it for the rest of the week. Aileen Wright English Catholic School was shut down today after part of the roof collapsed over the weekend due to heavy snow and precipitation. The Northwestern Catholic District School Board is expecting a full structural safety evaluation later this week. Once the board has the engineer's assessment, it will decide next steps, including if and when it can reopen for in-person learning or if virtual learning will be required. After a long, harsh winter, Conservation Sudbury is watching the potential flooding situation. Right now, the Sudbury region is under a flood watch with double the amount of snowpack in the bush. CTV's Elena Everson has more.
Water is quickly moving in Junction Creek in Sudbury. Right now, Conservation Sudbury has a flood watch in place, specifically for urban waterways.
The smaller systems like Junction Creek, for example, we're watching those closely. We anticipate or expect and would not be surprised that we have some localized flooding on these watercourses.
With spring conditions finally upon us, Conservation Sudbury has been measuring the snowpack and says there is a lot of snow out there.
A week ago when we measured it, there was about double the amount of snow in the bush to the north and in the city as well. So that is a lot of snow that still has to melt. Our weather, of course, is getting warmer as we're feeling it, and we've got some rain coming on and off. So when you add all of those three things together, we're going to expect rising water levels.
Jorgensen says right now, the larger water courses are not a big concern, but admits that could quickly change depending on weather conditions.
Like the Wanapitei River, the upper parts of the Vermilion River, even the confluence of the Vermilion and the Onaping, those areas, those are large river systems that have the snow in their headwaters further to the north, and that they are on the rise, but they're slowly rising. They don't react as quickly as the small urban streams do.
Conservation Sudbury says it will update its flood message later this week. The North Bay Mattawa Conservation Authority has issued a flood watch with significant rainfall anticipated this week. Elena Everson, CTV News, Sudbury.
Some improvements have been made to help prevent homelessness for those discharged from the Sudbury jail, but organizations that work with these individuals say more work is still needed. CTV's Angela Gemmel reports.
When an inmate is released from this correctional institution, they may or may not have a plan in place for housing.
There isn't housing for our clients, and oftentimes when someone's incarcerated, they may not know when their next court date is, or they attend court and are released that day, and then there's no time to plan.
A 2025 report from the John Howard Society of Ontario found more than 7,400 people released from provincial correctional facilities have no fixed address. The CEO of the John Howard Society of Sudbury wants to see more pre-release planning coming from the Sudbury jail. But given that it's a mostly remand facility, inmates here are only held while their cases are going through the court system.
Some people are there overnight, some people are there 10 days, 30 days, all the way up to 2 years, if not even more than that. The pre-release planning can be difficult when you have several hundred people over there to just a couple of social workers.
The head of the Elizabeth Fry Society of Northeastern Ontario says a big challenge is paying for housing, since many lose assistance like Ontario Works when they're behind bars.
I mean, if you don't have that income to work with when you're released, then you're going to lose what you may have had as housing, and then have a hard time to be able to, take the time to get the income back in place and then find something that you can actually live in.
Both Collins and Berghammer say more affordable housing would help, including transitional housing specifically for those released from jail. In a statement, a spokesperson says the Ministry of the Solicitor General works with municipalities and partners to support those released, including arranging travel to home communities and establishing connections with third-party supports. Despite the challenges, Berghammer says there's been some improvements, but more work is still needed. Angela Gemmell, CTV News, Sudbury.
A glimpse into Sudbury's past was unlocked over the weekend. A time capsule that was tucked away in one of the pillars at Tom Davies Square in October 2001 was opened Saturday. Photos and maps of the city 25 years ago were found inside, along with information on the School of Medicine Cancer Center and Snow Lab, all of which were just being created at the time. Sudbury Mayor Paul Lefebvre says one of the most surprising things found was how accurate Science North's predictions were about its future. Very cool, although I don't know how I feel about 2001 being historic. Still ahead tonight on CTV News. A new pilot project is helping to connect the food bank in the Sault with more rural residents. More on that after this. A new pilot program for a Sault Ste. Marie Food Bank is looking to better connect with rural residents. CTV's Corey Nordstrom has the details of the new Gooley River Access Link.
Volunteer firefighters will soon be helping bridge the gap for Gooley River residents that need greater access to a food bank. The new partnership with St. Vincent Place came from the mind of a Gooley resident and longtime food bank volunteer.
We get a lot of feedback from some of the clients from the rural communities who are coming in and using the food bank here in Sault Ste. Marie that is often challenging. You know, car trouble is one of the biggest things I hear. They have to wait and get a ride from somebody else.
When this opportunity came up, we've really jumped at it, and we're really grateful to Chris and Shauna for building the relationship.
Locals can register for the food bank by visiting the Gooley Fire Hall from 6:30 to 8 p.m. tonight. It's something that will be done every second Monday at the same time and place.
And then the Gooley Fire and Rescue will actually come and pick up the food from here and then deliver it to the people's homes. This really alleviated one of the challenges we had of being able to have to store food out in Gooley. So now we can do the registrations, keep people registering in their home community, and then bring the food to them based on the ad need.
The intake process is pretty much exactly the same as if they were to come into town. So we need to see ID for everyone in the family. And then we'll just go through a few questions, basically making sure that they're eligible, which is really only whether or not they've accessed within the last 2 months.
Despite the new efforts to provide food hampers to even more in the area, St. Vincent Place isn't bursting at the seams with donations. In fact, it's the opposite.
Donations have been slowing down, but we also know that the need is still there and we can't ignore it.
Corey Nordstrom, CTV News, Sault Ste. Marie.
High school science, technology, engineering, and math students from across Canada were in North Bay this weekend for the country's first ever STEM Racing 2026 Canadian National Championships. STEM Racing is recognized as the world's most prestigious STEM competition. The program challenges teams to design, manufacture, and race miniature compressed air-powered cars, while also developing professional marketing, branding, and business strategies.
It would be insane. Experience of a lifetime, and it would be great to compete on the world stage. A lot of people want to be engineers in the future. I love gaining experience leading teams and stuff like that, so it's just everything I want to do. It aligns with a lot of my teammates' career options, so that's why we're doing this.
Everybody's into this stuff. Building the car is also fun because you get to do your own ideas, you get to customize them, and working with everybody is another big factor.
That race car is then fired down a 70-foot track at 50 miles an hour with an 8 gram of CO2. This competition isn't just a race, it's about their pit displays, it's about their enterprise judging, it's about their design and engineering and their ability to do a verbal presentation.
The two teams representing Canada at the World Championships in Singapore will be Team Ignite from Toronto and Team Northern Rapids from Alberta. Finally tonight, the Sault Curling Association will soon have a new address. Sault Ste. Marie councillors voting unanimously tonight to rename a portion of Anita Boulevard Team Jacobs Way. It's to honor Brad Jacobs and the Saultites that make up the curling team, who returned to the city with 2 gold medals.
It's just one of those things where everybody here is very proud of them. I can't think of a single person who wasn't
glued to the TV for both Olympics, even the Briars at the time, right? Like putting Northern Ontario on the map for the Briars. It was just fantastic, right? Like we beam with pride.
The only address affected on Anita Boulevard will be the curling club, which will now be located forever at 1 Team Jacobs Way. Very cool. What a way to celebrate some talented athletes. That takes us to the end of our newscast this Monday night. For the latest news anytime, remember you can head to our website, ctvnewsnorthernontario.ca. You can also download our CTV News app. Thanks for watching. Good night.